Hey guys, Ready Set Co-Teach here. I'm Allison.
I'm Ashley.
And I'm John.
And if you don't know, I am the ESL teacher.
I'm the first grade teacher.
And I'm a second grade teacher.
And today we thought we would talk to you a little bit about collaborating outside your co-teaching relationship as co-teachers. And it's something that can be a little tricky and it can be a little uncomfortable sometimes. So we're going to talk a little bit about how we do it and even some challenges that we've come up against. So,
first thing that we wanted to make sure that we did with Allison is include her within our grade level PLTs or PLCs, if that's what you call them. So Allison goes to my PLC when we meet about reading on Wednesdays, and then on Mondays she goes to John's PLCs when they're meeting about reading, so that she's in there when we're kind of like overviewing standards, which is something she wasn't really familiar with before, when we're unpacking things, when we're coming up with our assessments, and when we're reviewing data. And then any type of trainings that we have in there, she gets to be involved with. So that way she has a very clear understanding of what's going on within our grade levels, and she can come into our individual planning days on another day of the week prepared to go over the same things that we've been doing in our PLC. And it's worked pretty nicely, I think, to have Allison involved in those. And she's, she actually brings a lot to those meetings because she's able to say, well, this might be a really good academic language bridge of what we could do for the kids and how to support them. Because not all students need these supports that we're putting in place for our ESL kids. So I think that's kind of been one of the best benefits.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's helped me a lot to learn the content, because coming in as an ESL teacher, I knew, obviously I knew like the standards and things like that, but I actually get to hear the teams talk about how they're teaching these standards, the language they're using, the graphic organizers they're using, the assessments. Like, I get to be a part of all of that, which is really, really helpful for me in learning the content.
And something that's really cool, and I'm sure other ESL teachers are probably in the same position, where you're working with multiple grade levels. So Allison's able to go to my PLT, hear about the same standards, which is usually about the same around the pacing in second grade. And then in second grade, she can hear about it, so she knows the expectations of where first graders are going. So we've got kind of that lateral PLC going on, which is really awesome.
Yeah, it's great when I can actually say to first grade, like, well, second grade, they do it this way, so that first grade can kind of prep the students for what second grade's doing. Same with second grade, I can say, hey, this is how first grade did it. That's why the kids are doing it this way or whatever.
Well, and best of all, too, is like after those PLTs and after the meetings, we're talking about reading and things like that, Allison then has ownership over what each grade level is doing. So rather than us sitting down and me saying, well, this is what second grade is doing, she doesn't have any ownership. She doesn't have a buy-in to that. It's kind of, she's being told what we are doing in our classroom because of a meeting that she was never a part of. Right. And that's not really effective collaboration.
Yeah. So, all right. So the next one is field trips. So this is something actually we are doing a little differently this year. We met at the beginning of the school year, like we always do, and we decided, like, okay, what went well last year? What would we change? And one of the things that actually John and Ashley brought up was field trips. And I wasn't always able to be a part of their field trips, and they felt like they wanted me there since I am a co-teacher, and they thought it would add to our parity. And so what we decided as a team was, anytime first grade goes on a field trip, I will attend, and anytime second grade goes on a field trip, I will attend. So that they were in agreement that, yes, it's okay for Allison to obviously miss my class, because you want to make sure we're not inconveniencing anybody. So they kind of agreed together, yes, I'm okay with it. And it's been really, really awesome. I've gotten to go on some really cool field trips. And there is something to be said about, because these field trips, like, for example, we went to the Science Museum. And we were studying fossils and dinosaurs at the time in second grade. And it was so cool because the kids were really engaged in this and they wanted to talk about what we were learning. And that's something I never got to be a part of before because I was never going on the field trips.
Yeah. And it helps with Parity because then they see both teachers out experiencing this field trip together. It's not just, oh, it's Mr. Cox's class, it's Mr. Cox and Miss Caudle's class. And it also helps with management as well.
Oh, for
in
sure.
a museum, or you're in a crazy hectic place, like we're going on a field trip to a farm soon. And it'll be great to have another set of eyes on the students on a field trip.
Last year when Allison wasn't able to attend, the kids were just like, where's Miss Caudle? Like, it just didn't feel like our whole class was there when she wasn't able to go.
So I loved that they brought that up this year because I didn't even think about it. And they were like, well, what if we try this? And it's really added a lot. I feel like it's really enriched our partnership and also our, like John said, our parity in the kids' eyes. So
yeah. So beyond that, one thing that we've also made a priority is, as a co-teaching team, to attend trainings together. And sometimes this will be, like yesterday, Allison and I were at a training just for second grade, so she came along with the second grade team, and that really helped, again, with the parity in our co-workers, our peers' eyes of us as a team, and validated Allison as a member of the team. But even there are times that the three of us will go together for trainings. And it's beneficial, really. It can take an experience, and I know some teachers feel that they don't get enough trainings and would feel very fortunate, and other teachers like, oh my God, I'm sick of trainings, send me back to my classroom, I miss my kids. But even wherever you fall in that kind of spectrum, having your co-teacher there with you really helps you both internalize what the content of the training is, and really makes it more impactful for your classroom, because during the training, during your breaks, or even after the training, you can turn to your co-teacher and say, well, how are we going to make this work in our classroom? You have that person to bounce ideas off of. And even if those conversations happen at a team level or a grade level, Allison's there contributing to those.
And I know what's going on. Because if they go to a training and I'm not able to go, and then they come back and in their PLC or whatever, we're in there and they're talking about this training, like, I'm lost. So it's great to be able to go with them and then be a real part of the team. And it's something actually yesterday, after that training, I texted the whole second grade team. We have like a group text for each grade level. And I said to them, I just said basically, like, I just want to say thank you to all of you because you've accepted me and I truly feel like part of this team. It's not, oh, it's second grade and Allison. Like, they really, truly, because I'm at every training and because I come to their PLCs and because they just accept me as part of the team. And when they have team texts or they do anything, like, I'm in on that. And it's a really great feeling being the specialist and being someone who could be kind of seen as an outsider. The fact that we're able to learn together and collaborate in that way it's really a great feeling.
So the next thing that we wanted to talk about is classroom events. So within our PLCs here at our school, we like to plan kind of more exciting days or lessons or things that we might
call them experiences,
like culminating activities or experiences. And we decided this year, along with field trips, that Allison would be able to spend the entire day in our classrooms for these events. And the reason we're kind of talking about that with collaboration is because we also plan these within the entire grade level. So we kind of work together as a team to come up with, well, what's the topic that we want to do, for example, Jurassic Park, and then which standards are we going to incorporate within this, and then we're able to kind of bring that back to our classrooms. So Allison's there every step of the planning process, and then even though half of the day is spent on math content when we do these experiences, Allison's in here and able to kind of experience the entire day with the kids because she puts a lot of work into it. And so it's good for her to be able to experience it with us, and it also, once again, it really does build the parity because the kids aren't like, well, Miss Caudle, you have to leave now, you know, like.
And we go all out. I mean, we get dressed up. Like, it's crazy. So it's also kind of difficult for me to be like, okay, I'm all dressed up and we're doing this fun thing, and now I have to change my clothes and go to John's room and be serious. So it's really great. And like Ashley said, like, it's not just, oh, they invite me to these things. Like, I'm involved in planning them. I'm involved. I mean, Ashley and I have stayed after, and John and I too have stayed after till 7 or 8 at night, like decorating the room and getting ready for this. And I support them 100% in that. If we're doing a room transformation, we're doing it together.
Right.
And you can do so much more with 2 people. Like, we have our decorating skills have gone way above what they used to be.
Even on like group projects, or we in second grade we had a presentation where the students made a PowerPoint presentation and brought it to kindergarten to show them the presentation and teach them. Even when we were creating the presentations with the students, it was nice to be able to split the class, and Allison managed half the class and I managed half the class. And when it came time for us to present to the kindergartners, it was during a time of day where Allison wasn't in my classroom. But it's great that she put all this time in work, and we can, with our understanding, Allison was able to leave Ashley's room and come see the presentations.
Yeah, and don't get us wrong, this was something we agreed upon at the beginning of the year, right?
Yeah.
We talked about what are we going to do for field trips. We talked about what are we going to do for room transformations, trainings, all of those things. So we've talked about all this so that we have a mutual understanding. Oh, okay, second grade is going to make this presentation. Hey, Ashley, on Tuesday, I'm going to be out because they're making this presentation. And she says, great, 100%. Because then she knows that anytime first grade is going to do something special, that I'll be able to be involved in that as well. Yep. So, okay, so the next one is grade level outings. So we don't know if you guys do this, or I think some people do it and some people don't. We actually haven't done it this year, but in the past we have, where just the grade level kind of just goes out and gets dinner or goes bowling or does something together to kind of bond. And it's not often, it's maybe like once or twice a year, maybe to celebrate a track out or something. But anytime that those things are planned, I am invited, and it feels so nice. Like, again, it makes me feel like part of the team. That I've been invited to dinner. I'm not saying I always am able to go, but it's nice to feel included, and as part of the team, because again, it's very easy for a specialist, whether you're ESL or SPED or AIG, co-teacher, to feel kind of a little bit separated, and inviting your co-teacher to go to those outings with your grade level team is just going to bond the team and your co-teacher even more.
Right.
So.
Absolutely.
Right. So the last thing that we're going to talk to you guys about today is including your co-teaching team, presenting your co-teaching team during those required interventions or IEP meetings. Now, this is not a requirement of you, but it's something that we feel like is best practice, because when you're in those meetings and you're talking about your students' strengths, your students' weaknesses, how they've responded to interventions or different strategies that you've been using, it's really beneficial to have both teachers in there. Allison will bring up things regularly that I forget about, or I don't think about, or it's too early and I'm too tired and my brain's not working yet, and she's a little bit more on it. And that happens, both directions.
Yes.
But by having two people there, you're presenting united front as a co-teaching team, and any decision you reach at either as an IEP committee or an intervention committee is that much more impactful, because you're having another person there with their own unique perspective talking about their experiences with your students. And again, this just promotes that it's all about the students, that priority, what's going to work best for them. And having both teachers there is a great way to do that. And
the IEP teacher and the IEP team, the special education team, or whatever you call it in your county, then sees you guys as a pair, and that adds to your parity, and then the parents see you as a pair.
Yes.
And the one other thing to note is that Allison does that in our co-teaching classes for students who are not ELLs as well.
Yes.
So she attends for any intervention, like if we're going to put any of the students in this class on any type of intervention plan, whether it's behavior, whatever, she's there and kind of giving her feedback on what she's seeing too.
Yeah, so. and it's gotten to the point now, and remember, I mean, we've been together for 3 years, so it's not going to happen overnight. But now even our Miss Hayes, our SPED teacher for second grade, she actually has a text where she'll text John and I together and say, hey guys, don't forget you have a meeting for the so-and-so on this date at this time.
Right.
I mean, she has gotten to the point where, because I was coming to all the meetings, she just started including me in all the correspondence.
Well, and even the pre-meeting just conversations about, what do you think about this intervention, or what do you think about, this accommodation? Her opinion is just as valid as mine, and just because I'm the classroom teacher doesn't mean my opinion is somehow more valid. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, so I'll go through them again just really quickly of ways that we collaborate. It's collaborating together, but actually outside just our co-teaching collaboration. So PLCs or PLTs as we call them, field trips, trainings, classroom events or room transformations, experiences, whatever you want to call them, grade level outings, and then IEP or intervention meetings are all ways for you to present a united front as co-teachers to the outside audience, like your grade level teams, your administration, things like that. And it's really by us doing these things outside just teaching together has really made an impact on how our school community views us.
Agreed. The amount of times that I get asked where Allison is it's a little extreme, and I don't know, Ashley, if you experience that as well.
People think we're the same person
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. I get called Miss Blackley all the time. She gets called Miss Caudle. It's hilarious. And in staff meetings and stuff, I will sometimes say something, and I always say we, and nobody questions it. Like, nobody's like, why is she saying we? Like, they know, like, if I say, oh, well, we do it this way, they know I'm talking about my co-teachers, because we are always, trying to be involved in everything together. So, yeah. So, just some ideas. Let us know if you have any more, or there's other ways that you guys present United Front to your greater school community. And I guess we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.